people today. They could spend half their lives over 50. That's a lot of living. So it helps to have a wise friend and fierce defender in your corner. A friend like AARP. So your health lives longer.
This is just slow-mo karate?
Just slow-mo karate.
Your money lives longer.
Hey, I just bought that.
I just sold that.
And your happiness lives longer. That's why the younger you are, the more you need AARP. Join today.
Welcome to AARP Illinois' virtual event. It's so wonderful to have you with us. AARP is on a mission to connect with individuals across various communities, especially those aged 50 and above. We're here to listen, understand, and address the unique needs of you and your community as we age. Our goal is to enrich your experience by expanding our local activities, providing opportunities for you to discover and engage with all that life has to offer right here in your own community and virtually. As we journey through today's event, we invite you to consider joining our dedicated team of AARP volunteers. It's a chance to make a meaningful impact and help us better serve those 50 plus across the nation. Connect with us and be a part of this vibrant movement toward positive change. Welcome, and let's make this event both fun and transformative.
Hello out there in AARP world. It's Amanda Pyle coming to you here from Morton, Illinois. And we are back with another edition of My Crafty Corner, where today we're going to be making some customized bath salts. Bath salts are so great for so many things. Typically, I love to use them to just have a nice, relaxing tub at home. And the salts have a lot of oxidizing benefits for our skin and body that we'll talk about today as well. We're going to add in a couple additions to our different bath salts so that we can bring a little bit of flair into them. Some colors using a mineral called mica, and then also some dried flowers, which you could do on your own or order. So bath salts are great for gift giving, obviously, but in the month of May, we are approaching the end of the month. I'm sure some of you have been doing some gardening outside. Perhaps your feet are due for a little soak and a little relaxation, or perhaps it's end of the school year and you've been helping out with some things there, and you deserve this. So today we'll make some bath salts, and you can decide if you want to give them away or keep them all for yourself. Let's first start by checking out all of the things that we might need to get our bath salts started. The first thing I want to talk about is our different flower variations. Let me turn this way so that we can see. So I ordered these online. Came with 16 bags of different flowers. And I mean, you could use these for so many different things, but we're going to get a lot of bath salts out of these for sure. Or perhaps you can find another use at home. But just some of the things that are in there: chrysanthemums, rosemary, what are some that are more familiar? Lemongrass. We've got some lilies down here, and look at the beautiful bright colors. And when you open the bag, they're just very floral. I like that they send you a lot of little varieties, which are going to be perfect in our bath salts. And what you don't use there, a great use for these would be like a summer potpourri, because these are all really floral scents. These are small rose petals that are whole, and I'm thinking I'm going to have a different use for those later. And we're going to use the petals for today. But they send you 3 different rose varieties, which is kind of nice in this pack. What we're going to be using today are some calendulas. I love the yellow color of these. They break up really nice in the salt. Then we're going to use some rose petals. And again, you could dry your own flowers if you wanted. I would recommend doing a little search online just to make sure that the flowers that you're putting into your bath salts are going to be not skin sensitive. You want to use something that wouldn't be irritating. And then we're going to put in some lavender petals as well. I love to cook with lavender, and now I'm making bath salts with them. So lots of great uses for that flower. Then let's talk about our salts. I like to grab a pink Himalayan salt. You could also find one of these online that was beautifully scented itself. If you found a scented Himalayan sea salt online and got that, I would probably back off scents in the other places that we're going to add them in. For instance, your essential oils or your flower petals. All right, next we're going to need some Epsom salt. So Epsom salt and Himalayan sea salt. These are pretty easy to find at a local grocery store. Yeah, in your spice section. The Epsom salt, though, might be found more over by the pharmacy area since it's really for soaking. So our Himalayan sea salt is going to be great for relaxing those muscles, but it's also great as a stress reliever for revitalization, and of course, all of these are going to be absorbed through the skin, so your body is just going to benefit from them in multiple ways. Our Epsom salt, like I said, this is a salt that everybody knows for soaking in, and it's going to be great for your sore muscles and your joints. Then I've got a couple different kinds of sea salt here. I've got a natural sea salt, and I've got a coarse sea salt. So my natural sea salt is on the left-hand side, this one over here, and it's much more fine. And then our coarse sea salt is just a little bit bigger, hasn't been ground down quite as fine. I like to use a mix of both. They're going to dissolve at different rates, but I don't buy a salt that has necessarily really large pellets of salt in there because those are going to take too long to dissolve and might not feel so good in the bath water. And then if you can find it, this is actually dead sea salt. And dead sea salt is my absolute favorite salt to put into my bath salts. It's just got a lot more benefits for your skin. You can see it's a coarse and shiny salt just like the other sea salt. But basically it is known for being extra high in salinity and having a lot of minerals like magnesium, calcium, bromide, and sulfur in 10 times the amount of salinity than the regular seawater that surrounds it, because it doesn't have an outlet for it to go out into. So all of these minerals get trapped inside of this dead little sea, and the water evaporates, and what it leaves behind is a super concentrated salt deposit that has a high amount of all of these minerals in them. So what's that going to be good for? Well, it's a natural detox. It exfoliates, it soothes the skin and cleanses the skin. It's great for hydration, it's great for anti-aging, stress relief, and it also minimizes pores, amongst other things. So we're going to work with these 4 salts today. If you can't find the dead sea salt, regular sea salt is fine. If you're missing one of these, that's okay. You can make the bath salts that we're going to make today with a mixture of any of these, or even just 1 or 2 of the salts that we have pictured. So we've talked about our flowers over here. We've talked about our salts over here. The next thing we're going to add into our bath salt mixture is a little bit of essential oil. So this is just, being that it's oil based, it's going to add really, really nicely to our salts and coat that, and then that's going to come out in the water, and it's going to make a little bit more of a nice scented, relaxing feeling. So we're going to be using peppermint, which is known for stress relief and also getting rid of headaches. We're going to use lemon, which is noted to reduce anxiety and depression, and it's also great for skin conditions. We're going to be using eucalyptus, which is awesome for pain relief and mental clarity. And then we're also going to be using lavender, which we're using the flower. We're also going to use the oil as well, and that's going to be great for anxiety, sleep depression, and also healing wounds. Something else that's optional inside of our bath salts today is going to be this soap dye here. You get 12 colors. You get 12 colors. I'm missing a few because I have used some. And this is like a reoccurring mineral that's found in cosmetics that we use, and a lot of blushes, eyeshadows, and also in soap making. So it's going to be okay for our skin, and it really doesn't take very much of this to color our salts a little bit. So that's going to be a completely optional component, kind of like those essential oils. You can either add those, or it's kind of up to you to leave them out if you like. So we're going to go ahead and get started now, and make our first bath salt. So I've got my bowl geared up and ready to go. All right, and here we go. The first bath salt that we're going to make today is going to be lavender, which I really love the scent of the lavender with a tiny bit of the lemon essential oil. So that's what we're going to use today. And then as far as our salts go, I really like the white with the purple, and I want that to show up really nicely. So I might not mix any of that Himalayan pink salt in. That can become a mixture with the white salts, or you can do sort of a layering technique. That's kind of up to you as well. For today, I'm going to take a little bit of my coarse sea salt. I'm going to do about 1/4 of a cup with my fine natural sea salt. I'm going to do about 1/4 of a cup of my dead sea salt. I'm going to do about 1/4 of a cup of my Epsom salt. Now, it doesn't really matter as far as the ratios of salt that you want to use. It just depends on which properties you want to get out of the salts that you're choosing. I personally think all of the salts each have their own amazing properties that come along with them. So mixing them together, you're just going to get a little benefit of all of them. My next step is to add in just a little bit of the flowers. I like to put them in my hand first. Roll them up to really get the scents moving in there, so I'm rolling them between my fingers. This also kind of crunches them up a little bit, but the lavender petals are so beautiful. Some of them stay whole, and that looks really nice in the salt. Look at how pretty that is. Now, if you use the pink salt, those don't show up quite as purple. They lose their color a little bit. And I can really smell the lavender in here already. Now, if you know somebody has sensitive skin, you know, you might want to leave the floral notes out of here and just give them a really neat sand, maybe that has some colors. The essential oils are usually pretty gentle. I'm going to put about 3 drops in. 1, 2, 3. And I'm just going to get that mixing around as well. And if I feel like it's clumping a little bit, I might even get in there and use my hands. So again, we're going to get some reduced anxieties from this particular salt. And I think it's so fun to kind of say, okay, what do I want this salt to do for me or the person that I'm gifting it to? And then being able to put those components into one bowl and mix them up is kind of neat. So this one is going to reduce anxiety and depression. It's going to be great for some skin conditions. It's going to have calming and relaxation values. And then lavender also has a lot of anti-inflammatory. So this salt has a lot of wonderful things going on, and if you could smell the lemon and lavender together, I think it was a really, really good and nice pairing. So now we can decide if we want to layer in a little bit of color. We could perhaps do some of our salt having a little bit of a purple color to it. I also like this because you can do different layers of it, but it adds a little bit of shimmer and shine to the salt as well. So I think what I'll do is remove some of my salt into here, and we'll leave some of it as is. And I never really know what they're going to look like until I get them into the jar, but it's kind of fun to experiment. This is a great project that anybody at any age could join in the fun and do. And I think it would be lovely to get this as a gift. Like I said, like a end of season gardening gift. As you can see, I literally just put a couple little pat of that dusty powder in there, of that mica, and it gives a lot of color to the situation. It just smells wonderful. The lemon is so, so bright, and the lavender is really just like soothing just smelling it. All right, so now we have our 2 lavender salts here, and then I love these little jars. You can get a whole bunch of these online, or you can find something else you like. I also just keep some of my bath salts, you know, right next to my tub. I plop a little spoon in them, and they're ready to go to use as well. You will, however, keep the scents more powerful and kind of locked in if you have something with an airtight lid. Even a little mason jar would work really well for this. So I'm going to go ahead and start with the purple salt first. Put a little layer on the bottom. Come in with the white salt for the middle. And a little bit more purple. And with these jars here, these tiny little ones, you kind of have to leave a little bit of space for that cork to go back in. And if I find that the salt is moving a little bit too much, I'll put a little bit more in there just to make that nice and tight and secure. Perfect. So now we have our first salt, which is lavender. We've got a layered look going on in there with a little bit of purple and white, which I thought brought just the perfect amount of color to that. I love it. All right, now let's make our second salt. All right. For our second salt, we're going to use calendulas. Now, calendula flowers are known for being anti-inflammatory, and they're great for healing wounds. So perhaps you got some wounds outside doing something. This would be great to do a bath salt soak with a little bit of calendula flower in it to help heal up those wounds. Now we have a yellow flower here, so I can't think of anything better but to pair it with our slightly pink Himalayan salt. So I'm just going to take about 1/4 cup of our Himalayan salt. I got a couple calendula leaves in there already. I'm going to add about 1/4 cup of our Epsom salt. And then I'm just going to go straight to the dead salt this time. Since it is a sea salt, I don't feel like I need to do both. I'm going to give that a little bit of a stir. Kind of lighten that pink color for us, and I think that's going to look beautiful with the yellow. On with the flowers. Now on this particular flower, it kind of looks like, you know, a marigold. So I like to pick out the really big petals that are still intact and just try to use the little petal pieces that have fallen off. That way it's more of the yellow in there and a little less of the green. All right, and then we'll do our little crush or roll, whatever you like. And then once I've got the petals off, if there's any remaining pods, I just like to pull those out. I think the petals look nicer on their own in this particular flower. And we don't have a lot of scent or floral coming from this particular one. So I thought it would be nice to add in just a little bit of our eucalyptus, which is going to be awesome for pain relief and also mental clarity. And then also some peppermint, which is going to be great for that stress relief, headache relief. And I think these go really nice together. Now this would be a pretty awesome foot bath. I love soaking my feet in peppermint. Just to break those flowery petals up a little bit more, I'm going to get in there and use my hands. Do a little twisty motion. And I'm loving the way that looks. And I'm loving the way it smells even more. Perfect. We'll get our second little jar. Now this one here, we didn't add any of that colored mica to. So we could do a layer of that if we wanted, and maybe go opposite this time. And since we do have kind of a gold color, we'll do just a tiny bit of this gold mica. And again, I mean, it literally doesn't hardly take it much. Hopefully you can see that on the video. softened it a bit, but I don't know if we'll notice the difference. So I'm just going to add a tiny bit more. Oop. And this can become our middle layer. Oh, you really see the difference in that now. And then we'll go back and top it off with our top layer. Pack it in for us. And there we have our calendula. And our lavender so far. Aren't those beautiful? All right. Third and last. This time we're going to do rose. And again, my little kit of flowers came with 16 awesome varieties, and 3 of them are different roses. But we are going to use the rose petals. And so we're going to start with a cup of our coarse sea salt and our natural sea salt. We're going to, of course, add in a little bit of our dead salt, because that's my favorite. We're going to give that a stir. We're going to add in just a little bit of our rose petal. I will say when you do the flowers in the bath salts, there's a little more cleanup involved with the tub. It looks beautiful floating in the water, but just be ready for, you know, the petals, they don't go down the drain just perfectly. So be ready to have to clean a little extra as part of the deal there. But on a foot bath, these work great. I don't know about yours at home, but I can just pick mine up and spray it out, which is so nice. So the flowers are a nice application for that. Look at that rose petal in there. It really blends so nicely with the white salt. It's kind of like you don't want to add any color to take away from how enhanced those roses are in there. And of course, roses are going to have a good calming effect. They're also great for anti-inflammatory and as an antioxidant. And then we're going to add just a little bit of lavender to the roses. Just 2 drops, because this is pretty potent stuff. And the lavender is going to be good for getting some good sleep, as it's a natural calmer. It's going to be good for anxiety as well. And I like the lavender and the roses as long as it's very light on the lavender. That way that floral bouquet of those roses still comes through. And instead of doing this one as a layer, we're just going to do it as it is. And you can even put a little rose petal right on top. Tuck it down in there and leave it whole. And I have this one just slightly embellished with a little sticker on the side. I need to glue it down so it stays a little more flat. But you can keep it very simple like that. Love the way this one looks. Now this one here is the same rose variety, but I've added in some of that Himalayan pink sea salt to go with the red petals. And so you're getting a nice mix of pink and red. And this one was really good for gifting for Valentine's Day. But we're past that now, but I still think it looks beautiful. It's got some coarse sea salt, or coarse Himalayan salt in there as well. So that's 2 different kind of varieties that you can do with that. Now storage for these, like I said, an airtight container works best, but you can also just, if you're going to be using them regular, just keep them right alongside your tub in a nice little dish that you can scoop with so that you can access those. calendula, our lavender, our rose, and our other rose. And then you could even take this one step further. You could make a little label for them. I just really like to do like a wrap around the top, and if you want to put like a little tag on there that tells kind of what it is, you can do that. But I love just doing a little kind of weaving wrap around. Oops, I went too far up on that. There we go. And then meet around the back, and you can tie this off in a little bow. And that looks pretty cute. But again, a nice little label works well too. I've made some of these ahead of time. You could do like a hand-written label, or you could type it up and put that on there. Just did a nice little rose one there. What a great little wedding gift this would be to your guests as well. This one here, we did some of the blue mica with the calendula. Probably added a little too much there, but looks pretty cool. And then something else you could even do with these, if you didn't want to jar them, is make some adorable little sachets. Now be careful that the ones that you buy don't have like a super meshy type fabric to them to where the salt, you know, kind of leaks everywhere. But that looks really nice too. Alright, so that wraps up this video from my crafty corner today, all about how to make some super amazing customized bath salts, either for yourself to help revitalize your mind and body, or as a gift for somebody else. Perhaps you are a caretaker and you'd like to gift this to somebody that you're helping to take care of. What a perfect, great way to get some relaxation into anybody's life or day. Or perhaps you would like to make that with a special somebody and enjoy them yourself. Either way, bath salts are very fun, very safe, and very easy to make, and require limited ingredients, including a variety of salts, some flowers, and some optional oils and mineral powder as you wish. I hope that you've enjoyed this video today, and I hope to see that, or hear that some of you make your own bath salts at home. I'm Amanda Pyle, and I'll see you back soon with another edition of My Crafty Corner. Thank you!